US President Joe Biden played down on a suggestion he made in an interview with Time magazine that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is dragging the Gaza war for political reasons. Biden's remarks are drawing sharp response from the Israeli government, which accused the US President of straying from diplomatic norms. But later in the day at the White House, Biden appeared to back away from the claim. He said, and I quote, "I don't think so. He's trying to work out this serious problem he has." The president admitted, however, in the interview to wider tensions with Netanyahu, saying that they had a major disagreement over the post-conflict future of Gaza. He also added that Israel had engaged in inappropriate conduct during the war. The Democrat said, and I quote, "My major disagreement with Netanyahu is what happens after Gaza's over. What does it go back to? Do Israeli forces go back in?" The answer is, if that is the case, it can't work. However, Biden's demand for a Gaza ceasefire has not slowed US weapons sales to Tel Aviv. Israel's defence ministry has officially signed a deal with the US to receive 25 additional F-35 fighter jets. The ministry says a delegation to the US signed a letter of agreement recently for the $3 billion deal that will be financed by US military aid. The agreement will add a third squadron to the Israeli Air Force's fleet of Lockheed Martin-built planes. Netanyahu's popularity plummeted after the 7th of October attack by Hamas. Most political observers said that Netanyahu will lose elections and will be forced into opposition if elections were to be held now. But no elections have been announced until the war is over, at least until major military operations have been deemed to be completed. Meanwhile, the G7 and Arab powers are urging both Israel and Hamas to agree to a truce and a hostage release deal outlined by the US President Joe Biden. A response from Palestinian militant group Hamas on Israel's ceasefire proposal that Biden revealed is still being awaited. The CIA director, William Burns, and a top White House official, Brett McGurk, they have departed for meetings in Doha and Cairo, and those are aimed at advancing the Israeli hostage deal proposal, and that the paper was now much closer to the position of both sides. Well, for more on this, our correspondent Jody Cohen sent us this report a little earlier on those accusations that Joe Biden's interview with Time magazine, where that he said that the PM Netanyahu is prolonging the war for political self-preservation.
So in the interview, President Biden said that he wasn't going to comment on that, but that there is every reason for people to draw that conclusion. In the same interview, though, Biden also said that Netanyahu is prepared to do about anything to get the hostages back, and said that Hamas is responsible for the lack of a deal. Now, following reports of that interview, Biden was subsequently asked if Netanyahu is playing politics with the war, and Biden said he doesn't think so, that Netanyahu is trying to work out the serious problem that Israel has. Biden also suggested that Hamas may choose to let the war, suffering and violence continue, and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said that that wouldn't be out of character for Hamas, who he described as a vicious and brutal terror group. Now, Sullivan said that Israel has accepted the deal, that the Biden administration is waiting still for Hamas's response, and that the ball is in Hamas's court.
Well, Jody went on to further tell us about what's likely to happen in those Israel-Hamas talks, and are we likely now to see an escalation of the fighting between Israel and Hezbollah?
An Israeli official has said that there won't be a better deal than the offer Israel made last week, that Israel went as far as possible, and the Israeli War Cabinet is reportedly calling on the US to give guarantees that Israel would be able to resume fighting if Hamas violates this deal. Now, the CIA director and US Middle East are in the region this week to try to advance talks. Meanwhile, regarding Israel's northern border, US State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller has said that the situation is extremely dangerous, that the US doesn't want to see a war there, but that Israel has a right to self-defense. That's after it took Israel 48 hours to put out huge fires across northern Israel, caused by Hezbollah rockets, and after near daily rockets since the 8th of October, when Hezbollah joined in Hamas's attack against Israel. Now, IDF Chief Herzi Halevi has said that Israel is nearing a decision on whether to move to an offensive rather than just a defensive strategy. And the War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz has suggested that the northern border will be dealt with by the end of the summer, either through diplomacy or, if that doesn't work, militarily.